Hello everyone, it's Andy Glenn here, welcoming you all to another episode on Sharks TV, where we've been introducing our new signings. Can only be one signing that's the most important of all. It's Martin Grubb. Martin, you've signed again for another season. It's like a life sentence, surely.
Maybe. No, I mean, obviously it's this is my club. This is what we've been building for years, and on let's not hide it, the disappointing end of last year, there's unfinished business. So good discussion with John and with Peaks, and back for another year and looking to take us to the next level.
Well, some things change. I mean, obviously John's now sole owner. I see some of the Sharks fans, they've created a new Facebook page as well. But you're back, you've got that continuity. I am absolutely guessing it's the same philosophy of decent person first. But how are these changes, the change in ownership, how is that going to impact on you? Is it going to be better, going to be more difficult? What?
Right now, I don't think it makes a huge difference. I mean, I think firstly I'd like to thank Phil and David for their time with the club. Along with John, they were the people I met at the beginning, and obviously helped this National League dream become a reality. So
yeah, they made it happen, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, Jamie and I, that was Phil and David Phil and John initially, and then Dave obviously was in the next meeting. So got a lot to thank them for. I still think there's continuity in terms of obviously John being the sole owner now, and I guess in one respect, for me it's in my role, which I never really had an impact as such, but it's one leader, if you like, one owner to kind of go to if I need X, Y, or Z. But I guess a lot of my line in is still through Craig, and Craig and John and myself, or John Dunbar and myself would still look at the management side of kind of day to day, and they support me and I'll support them. So I don't think there's for me personally a massive change.
Is that like the Sharks management team? I mean, all the fans will have seen the two Johns freezing on the ice when you've done that round the table chat. Is that the Sharks management team now? Is that how the governance works?
Yeah, I mean, I think as part of that kind of round table chat, we put that out there of that's almost the management group, the management team, where obviously John is the owner, and I guess the us three stooges supporting him as the hockey brains, if you like, and it's just ultimately much like the signings and much like it has been in the past, that it's just about getting things right for the club. So that continuity of myself being there, and then building on the rest of the group, that was pretty much, as you say now, the management side of it. One owner, one voice there, one vision, which we've all, as not just even as coaching, but as management group and as players coming through the door, we've all bought into that vision. I think
that's aligned with the philosophy that we talked about. Yeah,
100%. I think we spoke quite a bit last year about it, and going forward, I think as a group of three owners last year, and certainly now as John is the sole owner, the one thing that you have to give massive credit for is they came in and bought into the philosophy that I had. Or we as a club had tried to build, and we're trying to make it better. That's the whole sole purpose of things, is to make it a better, improve our culture, improve our performance, improve our off-ice product, improve our on-ice product. And everybody wants us to be the club that everybody wants to be part of. And whether it be as a sponsor, whether it be as a volunteer, whether it be as a fan, before you even look at the on-ice side, we want people to know that we're the real deal. We're professional. We're an outfit that is run properly, but our philosophy is centred around people. And so far off ice, it's exactly what we're doing. Whether it be the changes over the summer with John taking sole ownership, that doesn't change. It's still going to be people, athlete, player, and I think there's a lot of exciting times ahead.
I mean, you said just earlier there that there was a disappointment last season in not reaching the playoffs. Can I ask, are you have you got a sense of pride in what you guys achieved last season and where we're at now?
Yes and no. There has to be a sense of pride, right? We stepped up as a first-year team with a minimal pre-season to build on things. We took the fight, that playoff race to the penultimate weekend. I think we beat the records of first-year teams in the past of wins, of points. I think, as we say, we know as we beat everybody in that league apart for Telford. Tommy and his team seem to be a bit of a bogey team to us.
Still managed to get 2 points off them.
But we got a couple of points in the end. We were always there were always good games. There were competitive games, barring the one game that by the end it ultimately hurt us. But there has to be that sense of pride. But it's still very much tinged with disappointment of kind of how near yet how far we were from getting into that playoff kind of mix. If we'd got, I still firmly believe, and people might think I'm crazy, but hey, that's their prerogative. But I think if we'd got into that kind of playoff race, playoff run, that group, 2 groups of 4, I think we could have been a real danger. I think that's probably the bit that disappoints me, and more than anything, that if we had got into that 8th spot, I really do believe that we had a right shot at making that final 4. But we'll never know, right? We just have to improve, take it another step forward now, and look at the kind of whys to why we never won enough games, why we didn't do some things right. And our philosophy has always been better the next day than you were the day before. So we'll continue to take small steps forward and look to improve on our performances last year. If we get the details right, then there's no reason why we can't be moving forward constantly.
The reason I asked the question about pride was this club means an awful lot to you, obviously, but it means an awful lot to an awful lot of people. And we had 1,100 people buying into the Sharks and having that sense of pride in their hometown, their Dumfries, and it means a lot to a lot of people, and we're incredibly proud of the Sharks and where we are. And I kind of want the players and you and the club to know how much the Sharks means to a lot of people. Even this is just going to be like the longest close season ever for everybody. People are just desperate to get back, and that's a good thing. There's an energy here. And you were giving messages directly to fans all throughout the season, and it's really appreciated. And fans can access you in many ways, and the players. So these meetings up the stairs that we have with the players, we've had question and answers. But even after a game, even after a tough loss, all the players were up the stairs and they made a connection, didn't they?
Yeah, I think that that when you talk about the pride, that probably is everybody's biggest pride of. The on-ice thing, if I look specifically at kind of my role in the on-ice part, yes, there is a yes and a no. As a club, as a community, massive achievement, and you've got to be proud. Every single person that came to, whether it be one game or bought a season ticket or travelled even on the road with us, this club means more than a lot of people will ever understand.
100%.
And I think it is also part, again, credit to John as the owner of continuing that growth of it as we keep saying it's a Sharks family, and that you have to be incredibly proud of our supporters, of our club off the ice, our facility. Again, the round table we spoke about some of the things of we lost some ice here and there, but you've got to be incredibly proud of the staff and the facility here, because it's one of the best, if not the best, in the country. So the fact that everybody connects, as you say, we come upstairs, we face the fans, because I've said it before and I'll continue to say it. Every time I build a team, or we as a club build a team, the one of the key thoughts is to make sure the fans will be proud of that team. And we've spoken in between periods and intermissions in the season of we need to do more for our fans, because there has to be a connection. I think if there's not a connection between the support and the players and vice versa, that kind of mutual respect, then people end up playing for the wrong reasons. And I think that's why our philosophy comes around people. It's no secret, right? People play for various different reasons, but if you don't love the game and you don't love where you're playing in terms of, you know, the area, the rink, and more importantly, the fan base, yes, you're going to have ups and downs, but that's one of the key reasons that people will come and play here, because we're good people, and it's on and off the ice, not just within our club or within our immediate club. It's the wider family that attracts people, and more importantly, retains them. And I think that, you know, they stuck by us, messages every week of, you know, trust the process, and like, it was tough. You know, I know how tough it was for me, so I can only, and as a sports fan, I can only imagine at times how tough it would be as a fan going home frustrated, and, you know, maybe if it's a Saturday game, and, you know, I guess as a coach, as a team, we're okay. We jump on a bus and we try and get it out of our system the next day. Sometimes as fans, unfortunately, depending on the travel and the costs and the distance, not everybody's able to do that. So then you stuck with a stream, some better than others, and then the frustration can linger a little bit. But no, I think, like you say, that it's amazing the connection that this group of fans, of people, of whether it be owners, whether it be players, has, and it's something that we never want to lose. We've got to continue to build on. And, you know, even near the end of the season there, and, you know, a couple of nights out, even the players had. And I keep saying to them, imagine, it's fun, but imagine if we win something, the guys that have never won anything here, it'll just be off the charts. And, you know, that's why we build teams, that's why we keep these connections, and that's what we're going to try and do, is keep moving forward to put a winning team back on the ice, because that's what we're built on, success. And a lot of our fans have only known success, so I guess that's the next step. Trust us and watch us get there.
You say trust the process, but you look at the number of people that play for the Sharks that are from the Dumfries area. I mean, against cities in England, the population would dictate that they've got a bigger pool of players to pick from. But these kids that have grown up to be men and played with each other for a while, it's great to see. And, you know, you hear Ross Murray and Struan say when they're hanging up their skates that Dumfries is a hockey town. You know, it feels a bit like that now, doesn't it?
I think we've taken some time, obviously, and nothing's ever an overnight thing. But yeah, I think we are a hockey town now, you know, and I think that's credit to, you know, everybody that's been involved in this, from, you know, kids themselves stepping on the ice for the first time with their parents' support, right up to that pro level of, you know, just some guys' jobs, and in everything in between. Say management, the old board. You know, it's something that you've been in that boardroom yourself and contributed towards. You know how much hard work goes in, but you know how much pride and what we're trying to achieve is in these rooms. So I think we're definitely a hockey town. I think the numbers at the end there especially start showing that. I think people were excited for what we were trying to build, and I guess the kind of tease now is watch this space, because it has to get bigger and better, and with that still comes a little bit more pressure, but are we ready to handle that and move on this journey? Well,
enough of the philosophy of hockey and hockey towns and all the rest of it. Let's get to the bit where I guess most fans are going to be interested in the close season. It's sign-ins. How is that building and formulating that new team coming around? We've obviously lost some key players, and, you know, as we go through the coming weeks and so, more will be announced. But from your perspective just now, how is it going?
It's good. It's good. We've got, you know, to be revealed type thing in these coming days, weeks, etc. There's some real key pieces coming back. We know and we've identified who we're targeting to bring in as new players. You know, for me, I think for me, and then obviously with Craig and I especially been working together as close on this as general manager and coach, we need to add a little bit of experience, a little bit of kind of know-how on, you know, you're losing Struan and Peanut straight away without Craig himself as well.
Yep.
But I guess a couple of long-term stalwarts that really led our room, really had experience and the know-how of how I function, how the club functions.
And had key roles as
and
captain
ultimately,
and captains.
Leadership roles. So I think we need, and looking at some of the finer details, we could really do just a little bit more know-how in this league, a little bit more experience from within the league, how to turn these, I think, 12 one-goal games that we were in, how do we turn them into one-goal successes now as opposed to defeats? And so we'll be looking at ideally bringing some experience, some, I guess you can call a wee bit of replacing some of that veteran leadership.
From within the league or from out with the league?
I would say, all I could say there is, like, we cast the net far and wide.
I'm trying, folks. I'm trying. I really am.
Nothing's ruled out, and I think you'll see probably a bit of both. I think there'll definitely be, hopefully, within the league, and if a couple of things work out, there'll be things probably outside the league. So,
and I think that's the thing as well. You say you've identified people. It's great to identify them and even have the chats, but it's got to suit both parties, hasn't it?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of things you got to look at, right? Obviously, one's the person. That will not change, right? You have to be the right person to play for this club. You've got to buy into exactly what we discussed earlier, the connection we've got between the playing staff and our fan base, our ownership. So you got to have the right person first, and you got to identify that person, and you get to know them, figure out if that is the right fit first. Because already we know they're good hockey players, we wouldn't be targeting them otherwise. Then it's got to work for both parties financially, commitment level wise, outside as a life choice.
Yeah.
I guess it ties into the person's side, but we ain't going to bring somebody in that's through no fault of their own, but not fully committed, can't really commit. We want a team, as we've said earlier on the ice, that our fans can be proud of, and we want a group in that dressing room that will stick together no matter what and fight for each other, and ultimately will have the quality to make us better. And that part is probably the hardest bit of just getting these little bits over the line, because like any sport, every good player's got more than one team normally, more than one option. So they've got to weigh these things up. I'm a great believer in if it's not for us, it will not happen. And we don't go out and get in, and I'm not saying anybody else does, but we're not going to be a team that gets in a bidding war and just throwing things at people. It's got to be right, firstly for us and then for the players. So these things take time.
I guess any player that's looking to join us or has been invited to have chats with us can look at all the social media stuff that we've done over the past seasons, and they'll get an indication of what the club is like. They'll hear you chat, they'll see the rink, they'll see the styles of play. Does that help? I mean, are people looking to join the Sharks? I guess is what I'm asking, rather than us trying to persuade people to join the Sharks.
Yeah, I mean, there's always players looking and reaching out, and even to be fair, like agents and imports themselves, you'll get, even through Facebook and social media now, you kind of get the whole, like I've seen some of your stuff. This element here of Sharks TV is, I don't think people understand how powerful that can become as a recruitment tool, and even just a kind of marketing tool to showcase our club, our philosophies. So there's always people looking. I guess that the hardest bit, as we say, is we still have a good core group. Even when you look at last year's team, we built a decent team. Ultimately fell short in our playoff hopes, but we built a decent team. So we have to be able to almost upgrade that. And I get from, it's frustrating enough for me trying to get the right people in, and I also get for the fan base side of it, the hardest bit is probably where we've never really had a massive upheaval, a massive turnover because we were winning. Yeah. But now we're at a situation where technically this is pro sport now, so it's going to be frustrating. Where again, as I keep alluding to, I'm a sports fan myself, so you go, everybody has favourites. Everybody likes a certain player, and it's not about when we're making changes. It's about being what's right for the whole group. It's not necessarily a personal thing, or we're not bringing this guy back because we don't like them, because we recruited them. They're good people, and anybody that does leave this club will go, with our best wishes. We're having to replace guys because of retirement and stuff, but we want to get things over the line to try and bring as much success back to the fan base, and I know that they do understand that's what we're trying to do, but there is still a personal, because we've invested in people as people, it still becomes difficult, because if you're maybe letting a guy or two go or trying to upgrade certain areas, it's never nice, but people have to understand. We say about trusting the process. You just got to trust us to try and build the best team that you can watch on ice.
I can get what you're saying. I mean, but it's difficult to upgrade people like Craig Peacock with 85 points in a season, whilst remaining in we're not going into a bidding war as such. But then you also ask players to run through walls for you, and I've heard all your players saying they'll do pretty much anything for you as a coach. So it must be difficult because it's pro sports, to then upgrade some of those players who maybe aren't featuring in your plans coming forward.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about something like Craig, right, it's you can never say irreplaceable, but it's going to be really hard. Will we be able to replace him like for like? The chances are probably not. Right, the one good thing we have in our favour, and I keep reminding people, is he's not went anywhere. Right, he's still here. He's still part of our club. He's still going to be able to have an impact with. He's on the business side, but even within the playing side and bringing new guys in and helping people settle. Thankfully, we still have him here, and that element of the game we will use him. And of course, between us, we're trying to get these guys over the line. Secondly, for me, I think where people might see the difference is, I think we have to get deeper in our lineup. I think we have to have more depth and more, like, again, not necessarily specifically scoring, but I'd like to see us have more scoring across our lineup. Last year, it's not being disrespectful to any of our players, but let's be honest, right? We were a kind of one line team, really, one and a bit lines. I know, Gardsey got his 50 goals. A lot of time he'd be on the PP or on that top line at times with Peaks and Dunny. And again, not saying our second or third line did not contribute, because they've all got different roles. But if we could spread the scoring, you look at
there was 5 top scorers.
Yeah, you look at Leeds and MK and Swindon and these top end teams. It's pretty spread, right? Everybody's still got their top 3, 4, 5 guys. But if we can have that and add to the rest of our group, and I know the guys that were here last year that are coming back understand that, and they're hungry, because ultimately it was their first year in this league and lessons were learned by everybody. But if we can, instead of, as we said about the bidding war, instead of going potentially looking to say, right, we're going to replace Craig with one guy, maybe we replace him with 2 or 3. And it makes our group better, and we can fill different roles and use where we need to get stronger in. I mean, our PK started slow and got better, but can we bring a couple of guys in at that level that, penalty killing, grinding, the kind of, I guess, the dirty jobs are maybe more their speciality? Can we give guys that were in the lineup who are on the cusp of breaking through into that top 5 points, can we give them a bigger role this year? There's various ways we've got to look at it, and ultimately we've got to piece together this jigsaw to get the best version we can. So yeah, there's no doubt some people will move on, some people will retire, and some people will be brought in that new. But I still think when it's all said and done, and as the announcements come out, people will like what we're doing and what we're trying to do. And if we can get where we want to be as almost our first choices, we'll be an exciting team.
Well, I could probably sit and talk to you all day about all sorts of things, Martin, but I'd like to thank you for spending some time just getting the message to me and to the fans here. You know what the final bit's going to be, the message to the fans, but before you do that, it's just a little reminder to everyone to like, share and subscribe the channel on YouTube. 1,200 subscribers. Let's see if I can get that to 2,000 by the end of the season, so I'd appreciate your help in that. But before we go and say cheerio, it's over to Martin for his final word.
Yeah, firstly, thanks very much for the last year's support, the support through the summer so far. People that put their hand in their pocket where that's available to them to buy their season tickets. Anybody sitting on the fence, make sure you buy them. Because ultimately, this team it's going to go into its second year. We're looking to make massive strides. We're looking to put an exciting team on the ice that's going to have a bit of everything for you guys to ideally worship in a situation for us. We're going to look already to try and bring a piece of silverware if we can. So we can't do it without our fans. We can't do it if it's not together. So again, trust us. Thanks for the support so far, and look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, Martin, and thanks everyone for watching. This is Andy Glenn saying cheerio.